This is a quick look at the Beachtek DXA-Micro Pro. They call it an adapter, but it's a lot more than an adapter. It's actually a 2-channel preamp that allows you to hook up 1 or 2 microphones to your DSLR and record audio quite professionally along with the video in your camera. This has much better preamps than most DSLRs have built in. The main reason I got this thing is because A, I was tired of recording my audio separately from my video and then having to sync it later on. And B, and more importantly for me, I wanted to use really good microphones like condenser microphones that need phantom power and require an XLR input, which this one has. This is the right channel that's connected to this XLR input. Now on the front here, you have 2 volume controls for the 2 channels, which you can switch either mono or stereo, so you can use them separately or in unison. Each of them has also a little high-low switch at the low position, which I normally try to get away with for as long as possible, and I normally do get away with. It has plus 15 dB volume boost, and in the high position it goes up to 30, but then you usually have some hissing problems. The idea is to keep the volume on your camera as low as possible. In fact, just as low as 1 step above 0. So sound is coming in, but all the preamplification is done by this thing. It has these 4 input jacks here, left, right, in case you want to use a 3.5 millimeter jack, a microphone that has one of those plugs, like this little Sennheiser shotgun microphone I have here, instead of the XLR. So you could plug those in left or right, or you could have this plugged in here in the left channel and the XLR microphone on the right. Then it has a stereo input, which you would use if you have like a stereo microphone, which is basically 2 microphones linked together with a stereo plug at the other end, or you would have music piped in from an iPod or whatever, or from a mixer with various microphones. I never use this. And then there's this output. The output goes to the microphone input on your camera. And then if your camera has an output, like a headphone jack, then you would connect that to the monitor input here. And you could have this monitor mix by plugging in your headphones here. And this monitor mix can be switched between play and record. While you record and you want to monitor what's coming in through the microphones, you would have it on record, and then later if you want to check your audio on your video, you would play it back on your camera and switch this to play. Now this is the setup with my X-T2. There is no microphone plugged in here now because I'm using this microphone to record this audio on my computer, because I'm not using the Beachtek right now. Normally it would be plugged in here. It's a condenser microphone that needs phantom power, which the Beachtek provides. You would first turn on the power here, and then you would turn on the phantom power. Now, in that situation, you have the choice between putting the output to mono or stereo. If you put it to stereo, that would mean that you only get the signal on the right channel and the left channel would be mute. There would be nothing coming in. That doesn't make a lot of sense. If you put it to mono, you would have the signal from this microphone on both channels. Additionally, what you could do in that situation would be to take the volume down on one of the 2 channels, and that would give you an uneven volume readout on left and right. You would have lower volume on the right channel, and that is actually what's called a safety track. So if there'd be unexpected peaks that would distort and overdrive the right channel, you could still use the left channel. I mean, that is something that you maybe want to do in environments where the audio is a little difficult to control. Normally, I think it's safe to keep this on stereo and just have 2 even channels of volume. That's the easiest way later on to not have to sync your audio. Just in terms of these cables, I want to make sure that that's clear. The Beachtek has 4 3.5 millimeter plugs here. No, what's the difference? What's the opposite of a plug? A jack? I never know. Yeah, jacks. Okay, so this is marked L. This is where I sometimes put in a second microphone, like my Sennheiser shotgun microphone. R would be used if your right microphone does not have an LXR plug, but a 3.5 millimeter plug. Stereo would be for all kinds of sources that come in stereo. I can't really think of a very useful use for that unless you have a stereo microphone, or you come in with several microphones and you need an output from a mixer, or maybe you want to pipe in an audio source like music from an iPod or something. But I never use this. And this is the output. The output is connected with one of those little cables to the microphone input on the camera, where you normally would put in your microphone. And then the camera with this battery grip has a headphone output, which is now our monitor. So that goes back into the Beachtek, into the monitor section here, into the monitor input. And normally, if I didn't have my headphones hooked up to my computer right now, they would be plugged in here. So I can monitor what I'm recording. Then later, if I play back my recording and want to make sure that the audio has recorded right, I would have to flip this switch from record to play. That's pretty much it. So that's the standard setup with one microphone. Sometimes I want to capture what's going on in the room with a second microphone. Then I would put the right microphone in here, the left microphone, did I say microphone? The left microphone in here. I would use a stereo mix, and I would have these two independent channels that I could theoretically manipulate later in post. Like if I decide that only one of them is usable, I could then in Premiere or Final Cut Pro or any other editing program have that usable channel be the only one. The way you connect this physically to your camera, there are different ways. I usually have it under my X-T2, which I can't show you now because it's filming this, but it has a tripod screw here that goes into the tripod screw on your camera, and then you can put it on a tripod. You could have this face towards yourself if you film yourself, or you could have it 180 degrees and control it from the back of your camera. Or you could use this cold shoe adapter and put it on top of your camera. This one doesn't have a hot shoe, but then it would look like this. I don't use that because, as you can see, it covers up some of the controls on top of the camera. So I don't use this cold shoe adapter. It just comes off with an Allen wrench that comes with the Beachtek. Microphones like this can be attached here to the side. It has two female cold shoes on the side. Somebody on YouTube I watched was complaining that he wasn't able to attach his microphone sideways like this, but only like this, which would be crazy. I hope that's not true for most microphones. For mine, it isn't. For mine, you can put it whichever way you want. And it also comes with these two short 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter cables that help you to connect it to your camera's microphone input and come from the headphone output back into the Beachtek's monitor section. So pretty much everything you need to set it up is in the package. You could also put this on a separate little tripod or have it somewhere on a table. It's very convenient, it's very lightweight, it's sturdy, it runs on 9 volt. That's one of these batteries. Unfortunately, there is no way to plug it into the wall. I find that a little unfortunate because one application I use this for is interviews, and if you have like hours and hours of people sitting in front of it, it would be great to not have to worry about the battery running out. One last use that I want to mention real quick. I've had great success improving the recording quality with this inexpensive Tascam recorder that I have. it has microphones that aren't of the best quality. I've been able to hook up a great condenser microphone to my Beachtek with the XLR input, and then from the Beachtek's output I go into the line-in on this Tascam recorder. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you have to switch the input from microphone to line, and then you will be pleasantly surprised at the recording quality.